Yes. Welcome back once again, guys. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, today being the 22nd day of the month of May 2026, we have a very massive update for you. A very important development that has played out in Nigeria regarding the case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And as we speak to you right now, a court sitting in Nigeria has officially cleared him of all allegations and claims that were previously linked to his name. We have official documents, findings and transcripts that have reportedly been forwarded to the relevant authorities and people that are currently handling the appeal process. And all we expect right now is for the appeal process to just complete its legal procedure just as per formalities, because right now it is believed that the end result has already been revealed by a sitting court in Nigeria. So what exactly has happened? Which charges was he cleared from? How will this help his appeal going forward? In this video briefing today, we're going to be breaking everything down carefully, step by step, so everybody will fully understand the nature of what is happening. Still, we have other important news and coverage for you. We have 4 major updates altogether. Let me quickly show you the lineup before we proceed fully. The first news says coup plotters against President Bola Ahmed Tinubu have begun confessing. Details have started emerging regarding how the alleged plan was designed, the roles that different individuals were expected to play, and how everything eventually collapsed. Well, the second news says that Yoruba Nation officials have officially submitted requests regarding their exit ambitions from Nigeria. New developments have surfaced following their recent meetings and petitions abroad. The third news of the day says Aloy Ejimako has responded strongly to statements made by Yakubu Gowon concerning Ojukwu and the Biafran issue. The response has triggered heavy conversations politically and historically. Then the fourth and biggest update of the video says Nnamdi Kanu has now been cleared of certain allegations previously linked to him. This particular update is the extremely important one because it may affect proceedings at the appeal court significantly. So with that being said, let us begin from the very first news. Coup plotters against Tinubu begin confessing. We all remember reports that surfaced months ago alleging that some individuals had plans to destabilize the Nigerian presidency and remove President Bola Ahmed Tinubu from office through unconstitutional means. Now, fresh confessions are beginning to emerge in court. One of the individuals mentioned in the proceedings is a man identified as Zachary. According to reports, Zachary worked around the presidential villa environment as an electrician and maintenance personnel. His responsibility allegedly gave him access to critical electrical systems inside the presidential villa, and according to court revelations, his alleged role was to assist by shutting down power systems inside the villa at a strategic moment while other actors would supposedly carry out their own part of the operations. That was the allegation presented. Now, the interesting part is that this same Zachary reportedly claimed he was deceived, and according to his own side of the story, he said he believed he was merely assisting with technical and maintenance operations and did not fully understand the broader intentions behind the activities being planned. The matter is currently before the court, and investigations are still ongoing. When you hear this kind of a story, it almost sounds like something from a political thriller movie because of how sensitive and dangerous such allegations are. Imagine somebody working within the presidential villa environment allegedly being approached to compromise systems from inside the building. But at the same time, since the matter is before the court right now, everybody must allow due process to continue before final conclusions are made. Moving on to the second update, Yoruba Nation officials submit requests to exit Nigeria as a country. Now, Here we have to pay a little bit more attention because these are something in common with Biafra. As we speak right now, as we speak, fresh developments don't emerge regarding the Yoruba self-determination movement. Reports indicate that representatives that are connected to the Yoruba Nation movement have submitted petitions abroad, and they are also continuing engagements regarding their political ambitions and self-determination requests. A group well known as the Yoruba Self-Determination Movement have now gone a step further by creating official platforms and structures prepared to project their activities internationally. And according to reports linked to one Professor Banji Akintoye and associates within the movement, they have claimed that millions of Yoruba people are allegedly prepared for peaceful self-determination if circumstances permit. They also stated that international stakeholders are studying aspects of their submissions and requests. Now, one major conversation surrounding this issue is trust and commitment. See, some individuals have advised international supporters and foreign consultants to tread carefully based on previous experiences with different political movements in Nigeria, and this is where an important point comes in. If any movement is truly serious, the commitment must go beyond speeches and social media declarations. Serious movements require structure, they require some form of sacrifice, they even require planning, they require funding, and also require long-term consistency. So anybody, if you make loud declarations publicly, but when it comes to real responsibility, real accountability and risk, when all these things enter the equation, many people suddenly disappear. It's just like you thinking you have people and you are taking them to go and support you in a fight, and then you turn back and see nobody behind you. That's how it is. So this is the reason why many observers are saying every group within involved in any serious self-determination project must prove seriousness through organization and long-term commitment rather than just emotional speeches alone. Everybody feels speak English. Now, let us move to news number 3. Alo Ejimako's response to Yakubu Gowon. Former Nigerian head of state General Yakubu Gowon GCFR recently made comments regarding the Aburi Accord and the Nigerian Civil War period, claiming that Ojukwu Odumegu allegedly frustrated peace agreements and misled the Southeast during that era. Those comments immediately generated reactions. One of the strongest response came from lawyer and political commentator Alo Ejimako, who challenged Yakubu Gowon's narrative directly. According to Alo Ejimako's response, he said Gowon's presentation of history ignored critical events that are surrounding the Aburi Accord and failed to acknowledge actions taken by the federal government as at that time. He also argued that the collapse of Aburi understanding, the collapse, played a major role in the escalation of tensions that eventually led to war. Now, whether people agree or disagree, one thing remains clear. Discussions around the Civil War and the Aburi Accord still remains highly emotional and sensitive decades later. The problem is that many of the principal actors are no longer alive to explain their own perspectives directly. This aspect now leaves historians, political commentators, surviving associates interpreting events differently depending on the side they identify with historically. But one thing everybody can agree on is that Nigeria still carries many unresolved wounds from that period up until today. Now let us move to the biggest updates of the day. This one is the most important development in this entire briefing. So if you're doing something, I would advise for you to hold on till we finish before you continue. Now, as we speak right now, Nnamdi Kanu has reportedly received a major legal boost regarding allegations previously connected to the EndSARS protest and the violence that followed. For a long time now, the Nigerian government and the DSS had attempted to associate some of Kanu's broadcasts and statements with unrest and destructions linked to the EndSARS protests. According to previous court proceedings, prosecution witnesses claimed that certain broadcasts allegedly incited unrest during that particular period. So, however, A major development has now emerged. It don't come from Lagos State. The Lagos State Judicial Panel of Inquiry, the same panel established to investigate events surrounding the EndSARS protest and Lekki Tollgate incidents. This same panel that has been set up have reportedly reached a conclusion that did not link Nnamdi Kanu directly to the violence and destruction associated with the protest. Now, this panel was headed by Justice Doris Okuwobi and heard testimonies from protesters, military personnel, police officers, journalists, medical personnel, forensic experts, victims, and even eyewitnesses over a very long investigative process. Now, pay attention carefully because this is where things become extremely important. According to findings now being referenced, the panel reportedly did not identify Nnamdi Kanu as somebody responsible for the directing or organizing EndSARS violence or destruction. This is very significant right here because earlier reports have had prosecution narrative that attempted to indirectly connect the public broadcast of Nnamdi Kanu to the unrest happening in Nigeria at the time. But after extensive investigations, testimonies, and reviews of evidence, the Lagos State panel's conclusions reportedly did not establish him as being responsible for those destructive acts. And according to information currently circulating, these findings and related documents have now become relevant materials before the appeal process. Now, why is this important? This is very important because when federal government presents allegations in court, every allegation must be supported by evidence, consistency, and verifiable findings. Now, imagine one arm of the Nigerian system trying to associate somebody with destruction and violence while another official investigative panel spend months reviewing evidence. They spend months reviewing evidence and they do not arrive at the same conclusion with that one arm of Nigeria's system that is trying to associate the person to destruction and violence. That contradiction becomes very important legally. This is why exactly why Kanu's legal team is reportedly treating this development as a major breakthrough right now. The argument now becomes simple here. If the official panel set up to investigate EndSARS violence did not indict him directly, then on what verified basis should allegations tying him to the destruction continue to stand strongly? And this is why many people following the case believe this particular development may become useful during appeal proceedings. Another thing making this development significant is timing. Remember, the appeal process is approaching gradually. Every inconsistency, every contradiction, the conflicting narrative, and every missing link now becomes extremely important. So, appeal courts examine procedure, evidence, contradictions, and whether conclusions reached earlier were sufficiently supported. This is why this Lagos panel issue is now attracting serious attention because from the perspective of the defense, it creates room to argue that certain allegations were politically exaggerated or insufficiently grounded in verified investigative findings. So once doubts begin enter major allegations, you see that legal momentum could begin the shift gradually, go dey reduce. And this is the reason why plenty supporters, they celebrate this update heavily today. To them, this update represents another situation where official findings appear to weaken narratives where previously they used against them. And if more contradictions continue to come out from transcripts, witness statements, timeline, and the investigative findings, then the appeal process will become even more interesting in the coming months. So, what do you think about this particular development right here? Do you think the findings from the Lagos Judicial Panel will play a significant role during the appeal process? Do you feel that this Lagos State Judicial Panel finding it will give more room for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to feel flex, to feel the okay during the appeal process? Does this give us more hope, or is this just gonna be another point that will be swept under the carpet? Because federal government gets what federal government wants. So you think this allegation, this finding will weaken earlier allegations substantially, or do you believe federal government will still maintain the previous position regardless of the panel findings? These are very important questions that we need to answer. So these are the four major updates that we have for you today, and as always we would ask you, which one is the biggest one for you? We don't already tell now which one the biggest for us. And for me personally, the biggest update is clearly news number 4, the issue regarding Lagos Judicial Panel findings and how they reportedly cleared Mazi Nnamdi Kanu from allegations tied to EndSARS protests. That particular development is massive. So if you're watching this coverage, which one stands out the most for you? Drop your thoughts and opinions down below. Thanks for watching, and we'll definitely see you in our very next updates on the other side of your screen, of course. But for now, this will be Baz News signing out. Thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe.